Neal Mohan, in his letter, mentioned that one of the features that YouTube is going to add this year is the ability for creators to use their likeness to create shorts in the shorts feed. So you type a prompt, you use your likeness, it deep fakes you and generates an entirely new video that goes into the feed, kind of like Sora. And we talked a lot about Sora on this show. As I was saying, you wanted to go in the opposite direction, which is why you've been doing live streams, which is why you've been doing these vlog formats, going for pure authenticity, leaning into your, well, A, your existing brand, but B, also just your own personality, letting that show through on your channel a lot. And you were kind of interested to see how your creator friends were using AI to tweak thumbnails and videos more than make thumbnails and videos on their own. One of the things that you'd asked about was around the length of video generation, the limits around that. And I just want to reiterate again that one of the things that we believe on this show, I think that it's okay for me to speak for you on this, which is that it is much harder for AI to create longer videos than it is to create shorter videos. So if you look at the creator economy over, let's just say 2026, as AI video becomes more and more popular, you're going to run into a lot more issues if you're a short form creator, because those short form platforms are going to be more flooded with AI video creation, right? I mean, does that accurately kind of describe what you're thinking as well?
Yeah. I mean, the gist of it is why AI is dangerous, but there's a way to kind of overcome it. Everyone's using AI right now. I mean, a lot of people have ChatGPT. Some people might be using Google product called Gemini or Gronk, whatever, okay? Grok, forget.
Too much football.
Too much football. So people are now also starting to use the image and video generation tools like Nano Banana for Google.
Yeah.
I think it's still Grok for like Grok. And then for ChatGPT, Sora to a degree is that, right?
Yeah.
So just like everybody quickly jumped on the AI bandwagon and downloaded those apps to just answer questions and do all their searches through these, well, the same thing can happen with content. So Sora is a good example. Just you type in, like I typed in, I want to be a Dragon Ball character that's lifting up a comet and throwing it up into space. It did a pretty good job of it. I was like
amazed.
Entertained. Yeah, that was my first prompt on Sora, which is the video generation. That was my first time, okay? And I'm not really that experienced with AI. I was blown away. Now, I haven't done it since, but what I'm saying is think about every other kid on earth that can just play around with this. Think about every other creator that knows how to create content can play with this. They can immediately create what? I don't know, 10 to 100 short form pieces of content a day. Will all of them hit? Probably not. They might only upload 2 or 3. But what if they upload all of them? Because you never know with content.
Yeah.
Well, all that is competition with you if you're a short form creator. And this is why my logic, and this is just looking at it from a very like basic perspective. Well, if you're going to get flooded with more competition, it doesn't even matter if it's AI or not, because some content is still real content of real people, but they're using AI.
Yeah.
So on top of the AI slop is just like AI generated content or AI assisted content on top of the more organic stuff that's a little bit more relatable, more chill, more vlog style. All that is competition.
Exactly.
And you can't deny that. Well, if that is the case, what is the one thing as a human, right? Set aside being a creator, as a human that you can do that the AI can't? Literally just exist and be yourself and then just record that for as long as possible or live stream that. And this is why if you look at my food vlog channel, I didn't just keep doing the food vlog. I'm always thinking, okay, what's the next thing? That's why I'm doing live streaming. Hour minimum, right? Hour and a half. I did a 2.5 hour thing because for AI to create that, it would cost so much. It doesn't make sense. And it might actually be so hard even as a creator. So why not be at the place where AI can't really touch right now, okay? I'm not saying it's not going to have some like level of competition, because what if the AI stuff gets so good, people want to watch that over my live stream? Yeah. That might happen. But guess what? More likely to happen if I'm a short form creator competing on those platforms. That is a problem and a challenge that I don't think a lot of creators are like waking up to, because they're going to want real content. But ask yourself, how many times have you been on TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts and you knew that something was AI And even if you didn't like it, you still watched it. Even if it was just for a few seconds, that few seconds could have been your few seconds leading into like maybe watching more longer, right? I mean, the average view duration of a short form is 5 to 15 seconds. So you don't even have that much time. So and that's another thing too. When they go on to TikTok, you only get one recommendation. If it's AI, that's big. On live streams though, almost impossible, at least. But I'm paying attention. When I first see like a 20-minute video, it's all AI and it's decent, I'm like, ooh.
Time to sound the alarm bells. I mean, the thing that's significant to me is that we talked a lot at the very early stages of the show about Sora 2, the application, the fact that they were making a short form video feed. I would say that it's mostly fizzled out. It was kind of a flash in the pan. But the interesting thing is that this is the Sora-ification of YouTube Shorts. I mean, if you think about the way that Sora worked, is that there was no way to record yourself. You would just type in a prompt. You could include your own face. And actually, the interesting part is you could include other people as well if they allowed you to. And then you could upload those to the short form feed. Well, now you kind of get these weird hybrid feeds that are starting to form. And as far as I know, is there any other platform that's done this yet that lets you generate your own image in the feed that it's actually doing in app? I can't think. I don't know of any other than YouTube.
Lets you generate an image in the feed
and like just send it right to the feed right away. Because I think if YouTube does this, they might be the first, right? I mean, I don't know if anybody else is doing that other than Sora.
Okay, Neutrally, you have to jump in here. Does YouTube allow you to do that? I don't know. He runs all the the creative stuff.
To my knowledge, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, so then to me, that's just the interesting part. But the significant piece to me is that it can only generate shorts, right?
Yeah.
They didn't say, we're going to let you generate long form video. We're not even going to let you generate that horizontal video that you would go into the sort of long form.
But there are, right? Aren't there horizontal video creation tools out there?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's significant that it's built into the platform.
Oh, yeah.
The platform itself is basically saying Shorts is the place that most of this content is going to go.
And that's what Neal was saying.
And that's exactly what Neal is saying that they're going to do, right? And I just have to say that there was this moment last week where The Verge's editor-in-chief was kind of going off, and it just stood out to me. And I was hoping that we could maybe play it here on the show. So Neutrally, if you could cue that up and we can take a listen and we could react to it.
This is the final solution to creator burnout. You don't want to make a video today? You want to go on vacation? Let the AI make videos of you for a week while you're gone. Who knows, man? I feel like all these platforms are so nihilistic about AI on their platforms and AI content flooding their platforms that they're all just giving in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's not a single ounce of thought about, do consumers want this? Anywhere in this. It is just, we have weird monopolies. These algorithms are already flooded with AI slop. We might as well just be a part of it. That's what we talked about with Messeri and Instagram.
Yep.
Allison wrote about that this week. I suspect as YouTube rolls this out, it's what we're going to talk about with YouTube and their creators and their AI. And I keep saying that creator economy is going to implode this year because of the pressure being put on all these platforms and all these creators. And this is just the biggest pressure of all.
Yep.
When supply goes infinite because of AI, the rates for the brand deals that keep all these creators in their homes will drop. And then you have no other game to play except being one of one, being Mr. Beast. That's a game you can play. Very hard. Or just infinite content, which means you're going to turn to AI likenesses of yourself.
I mean, that is as just about as doom and gloom as you could get. But I did see you nodding your head there, Benji.
Yeah, well, he said, forgot what line he said that triggered this. Not just like about the pressure. It's not just about the pressure now. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, with AI, I think everyone can agree technology is almost always this way, and AI is just the same. Right now, it's the worst it's ever going to be compared to the future. It's only going to get better. So even me, I'm wary to say like, oh, this is never going to affect long form or live streaming. It could.
Yeah.
It could. Okay. I was just talking about content creation and the general competition. But let's just talk about AI. Okay. Set aside AI slop, which is just crap that, might get you viral here and there, but anybody can do it. It gets old.
Yeah. It's like spam content, basically.
But imagine, because I'm sure you've seen this yourself. I've already seen creators doing this. Okay. There's creators I know that are creating AI versions of themselves because with technology, they can look better than they can do in real life. Okay, I'm not even going to say who these people are. I don't need to because you've probably seen this. Now, it might just be like this playful thing where they're just making some kind of posts and, you know, they make themselves look really cool. But what I'm starting to notice is they're like, what if I lost a little more weight with my AI guy?
Yeah, that's very
What
true.
if my muscles are like bulging? You know, my wife compliments me once in a while. This is not a flex, okay? No pun intended. But
it
like
is,
sometimes
literally.
she'll like, you know, I just love how strong you look in your shirt and you're not even trying. And by no means am I like super buff or anything, okay? But what's nuts is when I made that Sora video and I said I want to be a Dragon Ball character, I was looking ripped.
Yeah, that's very true.
I was like, that's how I want to look like in real life. Now, for me, my behavior and kind of philosophy is like I have to earn that. So I have to go to gym more. And guess what? I do go to the gym a lot. I'm in Taekwondo. I exercise religiously almost every single day if I can. And so I've earned the physique that I have. But there's a lot of other people out there, not any judgment, but they're already doing it. They want to just use AI to do it. So why do I say this? Because I'll never be able to compete against the AI version of me. So I'm going to look stronger. I'm going to look sharper. Like there's certain things you can do to make yourself look better, like a jawline, right? Or your hairline, or the muscles, or the eyes, or like the hair. It's like always perfect, right? And I'm seeing creators do this. And to me, this is the beginning of them just making the avatar that is the perfect version of them. They don't have to work. They don't have to go to the gym. Remember what I said at the beginning of this podcast? One of the most precious things you have is time. It takes time to go to the gym.
Yeah.
It takes time. Like my wife, she does her makeup, does her hair. Takes like at least an hour, if not 2. But what if you could on a keyboard, right? Or with your thumbs, and bam, you are ready to go. For me to get to this place, we're talking thousands of hours of work in the gym, thousands of hours of being in Taekwondo. No, it's like seconds on an AI app, okay? So the content and how you are presented and how other people look is going to be like, that's, what do you call that? It's like a society that's almost like, not real, but it's like perfect. Utopias.
Yeah.
But like in a bad way, right?
A dystopia.
Dystopia. There you go. That's the word I'm going. That's coming our way. Okay. So how are you going to compete against that? Now, the logical answer is also the cheesy answer and the real answer. They want what's real.
Yeah.
They want what's real. But in the meantime, there's enough people, and I think more than you think, that will be okay with what I call this dystopia. They'll call it utopia. I thought this 5 years ago when blockchain was coming on the scene and cryptocurrencies were a thing. We're selling NFTs and living
The whole idea of the metaverse.
Yeah, Web3, right? And then of course the metaverse and being in that. Okay, Ready Player One is the thing. I felt that like 10 years ago, it was gonna happen, okay? It just delayed a little bit. I actually think with this, now it's like supercharged. Because think about it. If I can just like turn on my avatar in this digital world, and now I think Apple Vision Pro comes back into play, and I can go into this world, right? And say I am somebody that like tends to be overweight, and I've always tried to be like a chiseled physique and looking sharp or whatever. I'm immediately that in this world. Maybe I can be somebody that no one knows me, like a whole new person. That's going to happen too. The whole spectrum of it is going to happen, okay? I went to a furry convention, or at least I was at a hotel once. If you don't know what a furry convention is, Nucely knows. He goes to these, right? A furry convention is where people act like animals and dress like an animal, okay? And they go through to great lengths and spend a lot of money to make their furry animal costume. Well, in a digital universe, you can be that immediately and look super accurate, and you can do some really creepy stuff with it. It's going to happen, and it's starting with content. I think it'll lead to like this digital. Well, guess what? All this going back to time, right? I talked about us as time as creators. What about the time of the viewer? Where are they spending their time? And this is why what I just said, the dystopia, that's like Worst case scenario, that's probably going to happen, right? But even before that, right now, how many people are now spending a little bit more time on Instagram, a little bit more time on TikTok, a little more time on YouTube Shorts, or Sora, or these other AI generated content platforms? That's stealing from your time that you used to. So when this guy says like short form, their rates are going to go down. It is going down right now because they have other options. You're already seeing it with big brands create AI. I watched a football game with you guys, right?
Yes.
And we saw the commercial of whatever the big. It's like a theme here. A big buff guy. He's bald, a black actor. He was in Everybody Hates Chris, right? The dad of it. I forgot.
Crews.
Huh?
Terry Crews.
Terry
Oh,
Crews.
Terry Crews, yeah.
That whole commercial was AI'd except him. Yeah, right? Wouldn't you say? He's like driving a truck. It's for Ram, by the way. The whole production was a stadium, everything. That is just going to be the norm now. How can that not compete against you as a creator? It's funny because I'm always optimistic. I'm always feeling like, even today I promoted this podcast. I said, hey, 2026 is there's some amazing things happening. I'm excited about being a creator. But what's nuts is at the same time, probably the biggest challenge creators have ever had to face, more than an algorithm change, more than a whole new platform, more than even like me dealing with short form creators coming into the scene, right? This is way bigger and way harder, way more difficult. I also think it'll create the biggest opportunity, literally the biggest opportunity, but that window will be small. And that's why I'm like all about vlogging right now. The vlogging was not just a one move kind of thing. It was a chess move because I knew that would set you up for the thing that you have to do, which is either super long form content, right? Super like realistic, relatable content, or even like what I'm doing, live streaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you're talking about time here because I think that we should quickly listen to the second half of that clip because he talks all about time in that one.
I have a lot of sympathy for creators in this year to come because I think the pressure on output is going to go through the roof. Is all of these platforms are just flooded with AI slop.
Yeah. I mean, back to what we were talking about at the beginning, right? That the way to win is just to do a lot of stuff as fast and loudly as you can.
Yeah.
You're not gonna beat the AI models at loud and fast. You're just not.
Every second I watch an AI cat doing that Electro Breakers dance, you know what I'm talking about. Don't worry.
This one I actually know.
Every second you spend watching that is a second you're not watching a real person.
Yep.
And that's how these platforms work, right? There's only a limited amount of time. They're all just monetizing attention. Every second you watch that AI slop is a second you're not watching a real person. I know creators want. They say it to us. We are friends with a lot of creators. They want to make the content that they are passionate about and find a real audience that cares about them. And you listen to how some of them talk about their content strategies, and they're like, I make the one thing for the brand, I make the one thing for the algorithm, and then I try to make one thing for myself a month. And you're like, that sucks. Like, that already feels painful to me.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. Every second that you're watching someone else's AI video, you're not watching a real person's video on the short form feed.
That's been the case since the beginning of being a creator. It wasn't AI slop in the beginning. It was maybe another creator or another type of content or another platform, right? Like when it went from long form, which was basically everything, to TikToks, right? Or even before that,
Literally.
musically. Anything. By the way, it's not just content. It's like how much time are you spending on ChatGPT? We're just talking about content, right? But you have to think about the viewers, like everything they're doing and where they're spending time. That's why after COVID, there was like this big like drop in attention because guess what people were doing? Going back to real life,
Yeah, literally
hanging out with people. Like this is why I started my creator events because I knew creators, right? We're gonna leave the house, get on a plane, go places, and one of the places they might want to go is to my creator events, at least here in Seattle.
Yes.
And it happened, okay?
Yep.
Well, guess what? When they're doing all that, they're not on their phone as much, okay? The whole world was doing that. So now, on top of just AI-generated content, what about AI tools? I believe people are just talking to their AI, Siri or whatever more. I know this because one of the hot discussions in the AI world is AI companions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about the biggest Nucci is like, yeah, I got my girlfriend. She's like, no. But no, people are, right? People are.
Yeah.
Are going to start hanging out with a digital companion, okay? Not in a weird way, just like literally like an assistant. I talk about how my Gemini is becoming a pseudo digital assistant for myself. Weird. That's like going to be a thing, a DA.
Yeah.
There's VAs, virtual assistants.
Yeah, true.
There's like personal assistants. There's going to be like, did I just coin a term? A digital assistant, okay? Or AI assistant, an AA, right? So that time you're spending, because it's so good. Think about this, like back this up a little bit. Why are creators special anyways?
Because they're able to create content and capture some of that attention and build those relationships with such a kind of like lean and mean operation most of the time. That's a big part of what
and
makes
you
a creator
encompass
creative.
basically as much as you could about what makes a creator special, but to the viewer, what happens to that relationship over time as they watch more of that creator's content?
Oh, it gets deeper and deeper.
Right?
Yeah.
And they feel like they understand that creator.
Yeah.
They like build a relationship. I forget, what's the term when it's a one-way?
A parasocial relationship.
Parasocial
Yep.
relationship. Basically, like a viewer gets to know a creator more and more, but that creator won't know you. Okay, that's actually very valuable as a creator. Like you don't have to spend any bandwidth on like getting but you got 1 million people. Okay,
Yeah.
and so they build trust with this person. And that is called the mirror exposure effect. Just from hanging out with them a lot. This is kind of the foundation of everything I do as a vlogger, as a live streamer, right? And just being a creator in general. It's like the longer your audience can spend with you, the more valuable you become to them and to brands you could work with or a business that you're going to start. Trust. What happens when that AI chat becomes that for this individual and potentially millions, if not 1 billion people? Then you're competing with a super machine. A super machine. Okay? Now this is getting doom and gloom, but this is the reality. You just heard two comments from the Verge podcast. I've never listened to it. I don't even know who those guys are, honestly, okay, that we're just talking. But they're probably thinking about it in this perspective because we all kind of have to compete against other things in the world. And so how can this not be a danger to you? That's kind of my thing. And I think that it's something creators have to be thinking about.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to compete against it is do what the AI can't do right now. Start building the relationship and get the trust right now. Because if you try to compete against a game that AI will do circles around you on, it's impossible. Like what this guy said. And burnout will be a thing. And people will secretly burn out because it'll be embarrassing. They'll be like, oh, no, AI's never going to beat me. And they'll look at AI freaking building beautiful humans, doing beautiful things, and infinite. The thing that's always surprising to me is when I do see an AI influencer, because that's been a thing for a while now, before AI, right? And now you're seeing it, the consistency and how they look, right? I didn't know that was a thing. And now I know when I see an Instagram profile where it's like 100% an AI influencer, and then I'm thinking, okay, when are these people going to start posting like 25 a day?
And why aren't they already, right? Like that's the idea of the supply going infinite, right? Having those rates go down because there's so much competition between these things. I mean, those AI influencers will be people who will eventually, if they're building those relationships, are getting paid for brand deals, for example. And, you know, you talk about building those relationships, and right now, what can we do that's the opposite of AI? One of the things that we talk about is going long, right? You go long because that's something that AI can't do right now. But one of the things that Neal Patel said there in that original clip was being one of one. And his example was Mr. Beast, and he says it's really, really hard. I actually think the thing that he's missing is that you can be one of one for someone else on a much smaller scale, especially if you're doing something like vlogging, because you're being so real. And so to me, that is sort of the bottom line takeaway, which is that if you are doing the things that AI can't and you're focused on that authenticity and that relationship building now, then that is how you're building your moat for the long term. But that's only if you really start today. Now, One of the other things that is crazy about this is like, what if other people are using your identity, right? That's one of the things that we talked a lot about when it came to Sora. And Neal Mohan, in his letter, he did also talk about that, about how YouTube was going to be protecting people's identities using their existing moderation, content ID, and other systems that they have on the YouTube backend to try and make sure that nobody was deepfaking any creators on the short form and long form feeds. I found it really interesting because of some news that I actually heard last week, even before that, but we're going to talk about that after the break, because this week we are sponsored by Ecamm Live, the powerful live streaming platform for Mac. Ecamm is the fastest way to create professional live and recorded video on a Mac without needing a full production team. And, you know, one of the things that we have been preaching here in this section is about how you do the opposite. And we really think that live streaming is one of the ways that you go the opposite direction of AI. Benji, I have to imagine that you think that doing these longer formats in live streaming, as we talked about earlier in the show, is one of the keys there. But tell me a little bit about how Ecamm has helped you create one time, intentionally make the most of your time and repurpose it for a whole bunch of different ways to kind of buttress your content strategy.
Yeah. So just a little backstory about live streaming. I've been doing live content since really the beginning, 2010, when it was really difficult to do it. Okay. There was just a few websites and platforms out there. But it always took a lot of time. There's always glitches and never quite worked perfectly. And over time, guess what's funny? It got actually even more difficult because you were trying to put on a perfect live stream with all the gear and everything. And we've ran like 24-hour live streams where we raise like $500,000. Okay. So like we are, I guess in a way, our team at least, professionals. We knew what we were doing. But man, it costs a lot. There was a lot of gear. And you're talking, it wasn't something that was sustainable to do daily. And you just did the live stream and that was it. Now I can do a cooking live stream with just the smallest little setup. We're talking a laptop and 2 DJI Osmos that just happen to have because my first one kind of broke, but still working enough to do a live stream. And I have my new one now. But that whole setup, it went from like $15,000 setup with the amount of gear that could literally fit inside of a truck, because that's how Neutrally used to have to bring everything over. And now it fits like literally not even in a suitcase.
It's ridiculous.
Okay? But not only do I have the live stream, we actually record the live stream and we've edited it into vlogs. I sometimes take that content and put it into our vlog, right? Like our family vlog. So we get 2, like maybe 3 purposes of it. Now, if I wanted to take it further, I probably could actually create short form from it, but I don't. But guess what does happen? We use the dual stream function on YouTube. So in addition to the horizontal live stream on my channel, that becomes an on-demand, right? Like you can play it anytime, which by the way, gets more views.
Yeah.
All my live streams just continue to get views in the future. That is a big deal because that's evergreen content. It also streams live to the YouTube Shorts tab.
Crazy.
That has never been a thing. And one of the things that made short form really powerful is that you could upload it to TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and even places like a LinkedIn or a Twitter.
Syndication, right? Is
syndication.
Yeah.
Now you're doing something similar with a live stream on one platform. But actually, honestly, I don't even think about this, but we probably should test it. I don't do it, go live on other platforms.
Yeah, very true.
I should start doing that neutrally, by the way. But all that is being done through Ecamm, which is a software which is pretty easy to use. To be fair, I do have Neutrally, my producer, who I don't know, you want to say hi? I don't know. Right there, Neutrally runs everything. But he runs everything. And when I say everything, just in the studio, it's a crazy setup. Shout out to David Foster, who actually built it initially. But now with Ecamm Live, it's just way easier. And I know that if I didn't have him, we could actually set up so it could all be like done by myself and still look professional.
Yeah, one of the amazing things is that, you know, when you talk about creating once intentionally, part of that is actually getting to creating it all. We spent a lot of the show earlier talking about how important it is to remove the barriers between where you're at now and doing the actual creation process. And so if you think about what we had to do in the past to run one of your cooking live streams that you're talking about, you had to tear all the studio down. You had to bring it over. You had to run it through a crazy set of dongles and hookups and switchers and it was just ridiculous all over the place.
Ridiculous. ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Lots of gear, high investment, as you talked about, which meant high stakes every single time. Now it's like you bust out your laptop and a couple of Osmos and you run it through Ecamm Live. And Neutrally is not only doing the switching and the actual connection to live streaming, but he's also acting as like a camera operator because he can do that remotely even when he's not there through our setup. So it has just been revolutionary for the way that we've been doing the cooking live streams on your channel.
Yeah, I'm literally the perfect customer for them
Yes.
because it like saved me, because in addition to the time spent and the gear that was necessary to do it and literally the bandwidth, it was also the stress it caused.
It's
it
crazy.
like caused stress for us, and that's the number one killer of creativity. I'm stressed out because of the setup. Neutrally stressed out, right? Anyone around is stressed. My wife didn't even want to be around. Now, not to say that when we were on camera enjoying ourselves, that it wasn't fun, but man, the work took so much energy. And people say this now, they feel like I am more relaxed on the live stream. Part of that is because it's so dang easy to set up.
Exactly.
And now I'm just like not thinking as much about this and that. I still, to be fair, sometimes think, the camera should be, angled here and there a little bit. That's like 1% compared to the 100% of bandwidth being stolen by production. Now Ecamm handles and obviously Neutrally produces in the background.
If that sounds good to you, you should see for yourself how it works by starting a free trial at the link in the show notes. And you can use code BenjiTV15 for 15% off your first month. And, we really, really, truly believe that live is going to be a big part of the future. That's why we do a live show here. But also we believe that making sure that you actually know how to produce live and you're doing it in the easiest and most accessible way is just like any other piece of content. It is the crucial factor between you not doing something and you actually doing something. So go to the link in the show notes, start the trial, and use code BenjiTV15 for 15% off your first month. Thank you so much to Ecamm Live for sponsoring our show. Now, to get past the cliffhanger here, the thing that I found out the other week was that this is a story by Ben Freitz at the Wall Street Journal, and I'm just going to read from it, where he says, the title of the piece is, Matthew McConaughey trademarks himself to fight AI misuse. Here's the quote. Matthew McConaughey is taking a novel legal approach to combat unauthorized artificial intelligence trademarks, or fakes, trademarking himself. Over the past several months, the Interstellar and Magic Mike star has 8 trademark applications approved by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office featuring him staring, smiling, and talking. His attorneys said the trademarks are meant to stop AI apps or users from simulating McConaughey's voice or likeness without permission, an increasingly common concern of performers. The trademarks include a 7-second clip of Oscar winner standing on a porch, a 3-second clip of him standing in front of a Christmas tree, an audio of him saying, "All right, all right, all right," his famous line from the 1993 movie Dazed and Confused, according to the approved applications. So one of the ways that this is happening in Hollywood is that people are trying to literally take a legal route to trademark themselves because they're so concerned about AI competition. Just wanted to bring up because I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, you got to do this. If you're a professional, your likeness and IP are valuable. This is part of the job now. Now, I don't hear creators doing it as much, but they need to. This is where I think YouTube gets a lot of credit because they're going to probably preemptively give you tools, which I think we already talked about, right? There's tools that they're creating to make it so that you can protect your own IP,
manage your likeness,
and trademark yourself. Yeah, exactly. So that's why, to me, there's kind of 2 things I think about when you brought up the whole, the whole tool of protecting yourself from being used for other people's content, right? I actually think though it's important and you should do it, that's number 1, right? Because it's going to be done. People are going to use your likeness if you're famous to get attention. 2, ultimately, it's such a small little problem compared to the bigger problem. What about the future Matthew McConaughey's that aren't even real?
Yeah.
They are like this perfect human, right? Think about actors that transform themselves into Marvel characters. Part of what makes them amazing, like I'm a fan of Dave Bautista. He was a WWE wrestler turned basically Guardians of the Galaxy buff guy, okay? And he talks about I had to stop being this character because it was so much wear and tear on my body. Thor freaking these guys are looking like gods, right? And even like Captain America or all these people that just put their bodies through these extremes, okay? And it takes time. That's why they get paid the big bucks. AI character, immediate, and potentially look better. Even if you know it's not real. And the acting won't be on point yet, but it might get real enough where for a short form creator. So why did I bring this up? I'm like, there's problems that we don't even know are going to be created. There's going to be challenges that are going to be even bigger. So this is why it's like staying in tune with all this stuff, like having an AI friend, not like an actual AI friend, like someone that's into AI telling you what's going on, reading these articles, listening to a podcast like this. You've got to do it because it's just going to get harder and harder to compete against all the amazingness that's going to happen. And Matthew McConaughey is just the beginning. There's going to be, mark my words, law offices and agencies and just businesses dedicated to just this,
because it's such a big deal.
Because it's such a big deal. Because immediately someone like, I can do it right now. Make me a video of Matthew McConaughey drinking this beer.
Yeah.
Boom. Now it's clearly not him recording because I haven't played with anything that made something look so real that it wasn't something I couldn't spot.
Yeah.
Right. So there's still like this CGI-ness of it, but still it's Matthew McConaughey. It looks just like him and he's drinking the beer I want him to drink, or he's holding the product I want him to hold. And then you're off to the races. And what's crazy is this, we're talking about all this in a law-abiding country. But imagine places where they don't follow any of these laws or they don't respect IP and trademarks. Do you think it's going to stop them, us having our own laws? No. Just like we've seen in other countries, I'm not going to name them, right? They steal IP. They build their products that are lookalikes, right? We all know those, those luxury bags in New York City all on the thing, right? They look exactly like the real thing. They're not the real thing. That's going to happen for creators, celebrities, and content. And it's just going to be like the Wild West. It is the Wild West again.